not the most beautiful flute sound you've ever heard. This is actually a prototype PVC flute, and we use it all the time at workshops. Because, well, you listen to the scale. See what you think of it. I'm just going to run the scale up and down. Doesn't sound right, does it? What's the matter? Let's, instead of running the scale, do the bottom to top interval, the big interval. Bottom note to the octave note. Doesn't sound like an octave, does it? An octave should sound like the first two notes of somewhere over the rainbow, somewhere. That's an octave. Here is this flute. Ah, it's a terrible flute. This flute's out of tune. Get rid of it. Wait a minute. Here's the lesson in this. Here's the lesson that this flute teaches us. Every flute has a breath pressure profile. What does that mean? It means that the maker expected the player to increase their breath pressure as they're going up the scale, or maybe keep their breath pressure the same as they're going up the scale, or maybe decrease their breath pressure as they go up the scale. It's different for different flute players. Different flute players tend to do it the same way all the time. They either increase their breath pressure as they climb the scale, keep it the same, or decrease their breath pressure as they climb the scale. And what does that mean? What does breath pressure have to do with tuning? Everything. Breath pressure is what we use to bring this flute in tune. If I play the middle note and I play it softer, two things will happen. It'll get quieter, but it'll also get flatter. If I give it more gusto, more breath pressure, it'll get louder and sharper. So, I control the relative tuning of this flute, the tuning of the notes in the flute with its other notes. That's relative tuning. It's how the flute is in tune with itself. This flute was a prototype. The maker gave it to me so I could do these demonstrations. We've been doing them for years at workshops. However, it just happens to be horribly flat on the top. How do I fix that? Play louder at the top. Give it more breath pressure at the top. This is an extreme case. I'll give an example of playing it with extreme changes in breath pressure to try to bring it in tune. Here we go. I'll play very softly at the bottom and very loud at the top. Closer to in tune. That's the idea. That's why we use this flute. So it is up to us as the player to figure out what the maker intended. You should be able to ask the maker. You should be able to go to any maker and say, what do you assume for a breath pressure profile? Okay, maybe they won't know that term, so just say, do you assume I'm increasing my breath pressure as I go up the scale, keeping it the same, or decreasing it? And they should be able to tell you. They should be able to tell you how they tune the flute. So, that is relative tuning in the breath pressure profile. What about absolute tuning? Well, if I pick up a flute, and this is a flute that we use, it's an E-flat flute, and we use it because the E-flat minor flute is consonant with all the black keys on the piano. We saw the black keys video, Flutecast, quite a while ago, and E-flat flutes play with the black keys on the piano. You can get somebody to sit down and simply improvise on the black keys, hold down the sustain pedal and play away, and you've got a gorgeous duet as long as you have an E-flat flute. This flute has to be in tune with the piano. And of course, in different settings, if I have to play softly, my flute is going to be flat overall. If I have to play loudly to project, it's going to get much sharper. Okay? So, Temperature also affects it. A cold environment versus a warm environment. Warm will be sharper, right? Cold will be flatter. So I need to have this flute in tune with the piano to do this demonstration with the black keys, to do a duet with the black keys. And I need to have it overall in tune. And I may be limited to how much volume I can produce. So I asked the maker, John Norris, to produce this flute and give me this very special bird. The bird is flat on the top and the bottom. Of course, it's flat on the bottom, but it's flat on the top as well, so I can flip it over. And it's got two workable faces. It's got a face on one side that is 45 degrees, I believe, and a face on the other side that's 30 degrees. So it gives me the opportunity to play this flute in this orientation with the overhang. I can flip it over, and instead of an overhang, it will have a severe back bevel. Or I can reduce the severity and turn it around, and again, use the top on the bottom to give it a less severe difference between an overhang, a 30-degree overhang, and a 30-degree back angle. What does that mean? Well, here's the way it works. I can tune this flute. Remember, we've said that if you move the bird forward, down, it makes the tone flatter, and if I move it up, it makes it sharper. Flatter, sharper. In addition to sliding the bird, I can also use these different faces. The more overhang, the flatter it's going to get. The less overhang or a back angle will make it sharper. The same thing happens if you use a bird that has wings. This bird has side wings on its front face. If I were to put that on, it would get even flatter. And the back face of this particular bird is flat. So I can turn it around and I can play the front face or the back face, and I have 6 different possibilities. So I can bail myself out of a situation when I'm playing with black keys on the piano. So there it is. Every flute has a profile, and I'm going to play this scale up and down and then play the octave notes and see if you can figure out whether this flute is looking for relative tuning of increasing breath pressure as I go up or decreasing breath pressure as I go up. Can you guess? I'm actually keeping my breath pressure almost exactly the same as I go from the bottom notes to the top notes, and this flute was intentionally designed with an even breath pressure across the scale. Thank you for watching. I hope this has been helpful. If you think other people would like these kind of videos, click the like button down below. If you'd like to be notified of videos as we come out, we've done well over 70 at this point, click the subscribe button and also the little bell down there. So flute on. In case you've noticed that the quality of the video has gone up, and the quality of the editing has gone up in the last couple of flute casts, that's thanks to my good friend Chris Schweitzer, who has started editing these videos and has really brought the level up. So thank you, Chris. Really appreciate it. Wildwood Studios is his outfit, and he mixes all kinds of video and audio projects.